Yeah, it gives me no pleasure to give you guys this next set of news. There's been a shooting in El Paso. It's really early. When anything like this happens, there's always conflicting stories, and the media's, they're trying to keep up, and they're trying to give you up-to-date info as to what's going on. So first I heard it was near El Paso, then I heard it was in El Paso. I heard it was in El Paso Mall. I also heard it was at Walmart. From the latest I've seen, it was in a mall in El Paso. And yeah, at least 20 people are dead and 40 injured. From what I hear. And that is tragic. And, stories like this, I wasn't even necessarily going to speak on. If you, can remember, there was a mass shooting a couple Sundays ago in Gilroy, California, I believe, at a garlic festival. It was a 19-year-old gunman. He had cut his way through a security fence, and he managed to bypass metal detectors and bag searches, and he opened fire at the festival. He killed 3, and he injured at least a dozen people. That happened not so long ago. I didn't report on it, because these are kind of hard to get through. There are people that have lost their life, but seeing as how, that just happened, and, there was a survey done at Chapman University last year, and it found that 41% of Americans are in fear of a random mass shooting. And it's not an unreasonable fear. So that happened a couple Sundays ago, and then this happened, so I just felt the need to speak on it. The shooter, apparently they're saying he had a manifesto, and his manifesto was on 8chan, but then it was taken down. Now, if you grew up in sort of the early internet era, if you grew up, all my internet heads will know about, when GeoCities was around and Angel Fire and things about that. That's when 4chan and places like that was around, these sort of message boards. 8chan is a message board that is really, a racist message board. That's the easiest way to describe it. And his manifesto was really anti-immigration, really anti-immigrant. And so, yeah, he made his way through and almost mission-like, started killing people. And I've seen clips of, kids saying, hey, there's an active shooter, and running up and telling adults, and the adults are sort of like, yeah, okay. But then, eventually they saw that was the case. I do have a clip I'm going to show at the end. I mean, there's tons of clips out right now, but the clip I'm going to show probably best describes what happened. It has pretty accurate, detail, and I think it's pretty much on the money as to what's going on. And it even gives you a clip of, the shots going off in the background. So if you can't stomach that kind of thing, you may not want to watch the clip. But I am going to, put the clip at the end. And, I also saw footage, and I may speak on it in a different video, I'm not sure, of some of the, Democratic candidates that are, in the race right now. I think it was Beto O'Rourke and some other people, and they were speaking on it. I'm sure they have genuine feelings about the situation. I'm not going to nitpick them on this, but what I will say is, whenever something like this happens, it always brings up gun regulation. It happens every time. And, the gun enthusiasts say, oh, look at that. The left want to take all the guns away from us. I still remember back when they were like, Obama's going to take our guns from us. And that wasn't the case at all. So, before anybody asks, I'll just give you my stance on it. I think guns should be regulated, just like, a car, in a sense. And, when people, listen, if you like guns and you want to shoot guns and you think it's a good idea to have a gun, fine. I'd almost lean towards, I kind of lean towards, in this day and age, it can't hurt to have a gun to protect your house. I get it. And I also understand guns can be used for sport. I get it. One thing to not quote me is the Constitution. We have the right to bear arms. Say the entire quote. Why are you stopping the sentence? We have the right to bear arms within a well-organized militia. That is the quote. So don't tell me you have the right to bear arms. I don't want to hear that, because you're not saying the whole thing. You're taking the part that you want to say and forgetting about the rest of it. But again, I'll reiterate, I don't have an issue with people having guns. I just think they should be regulated. I don't think people should be walking around with AKs. What do you need that for? But if you want to own a firearm, fine. I think they should be regulated. I think it should be psych tests. I think you name it. All right. And if you have an issue with gun regulation, there's an issue with you. But no, I'm not for, take everybody's guns away and not everybody can have a firearm, because I'll be honest, I've seen, scenarios where, and footage and videos where somebody with a firearm saved lives. All right. So, I see both sides, but at the same time, I'm not some crazy gun-toting, Megyn Kelly-esque. When me and my husband, when we have issues, we go out and shoot. Like, calm down. So this situation with the gunman, I'm sure is going to bring up gun talk and gun debate, and everybody tends to get in their feelings when it comes to things like that. There's probably going to be stuff trending on Twitter about they're trying to take our guns away and things like that. I just want to say gun regulation is a positive. And I know the American people, majority, love their guns, and I think that's fine. And I think guns can and should be used to protect your family. People are getting crazy. Not getting crazy, people are crazy. So if you want to go out and get your license to carry and own a firearm, by all means. Right? But I'm going to say this and I'm going to play the clip. There was a gentleman who's from the military. I don't think he was in the military anymore. And he was helping kids get out during the situation. And he was carrying. And one of the things he was terrified of when the cops came in is that they were going to shoot him because he had his firearm. So, and not his firearm drawn, just because he had a firearm on him, he felt incredibly terrified that he was going to end up getting shot up. So I will say there always is a risk. There always is a risk when you do have a firearm on you. It's risky as well. So if you like what you see, if you like what you hear, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you don't, let me know why. Let me know in the comments. Let me know in the comments if you're pro-gun, anti-gun, if you think guns should be taken away, if guns should not be regulated at all. Let me know. I think this is a topic of discussion that we should all have, and I'm interested to hear your thoughts on it. So thanks for listening, and I hope we have no more tragedies like this, but I'd be lying if I said things like this aren't going to continue to happen. So, enjoy the clip. and try to have a good one, guys. Peace.
We begin tonight with the deadly chaos in El Paso, the mass shooting at a Walmart shopping center. Law enforcement officials telling ABC News at least 20 people have been shot and killed, dozens more injured. As you can imagine, panic breaking out as the killing spree started. The suspected gunman, identified as 21-year-old Patrick Cereus of Allen, Texas, is in custody tonight. Terrified shoppers with their hands up, you see it right there. Police say 1,000 to 3,000 people were likely inside of the Walmart at the time of the shooting. Many of them families there buying back-to-school supplies. And now the high number of fatalities landing this horrific attack on the list of the 10 worst mass shootings in U.S. history. Shoppers dazed and bleeding, some of them injured, carried on shopping dollies. Witnesses sharing chilling accounts with us in heartbreaking detail. And tonight you'll hear from a young woman who was shopping with her mother and her son, telling me how it all started and that the gunman looked like he was, quote, on a mission. There are so many victims right now, the El Paso Police Department urging people to donate blood to help out the surviving victims. ABC's Marcus Moore is in Texas tonight, leading us off.
Tonight, horror in another American place people thought was safe.
Gunshots, one shot hurt.
The first call of an active shooter coming at 10 o'clock this morning at the Cielo Vista Mall in El Paso, Texas. The store packed with morning shoppers.
All pack units, investigative units, please make it to the west side of Walmart, please.
Witnesses say a man wearing cargo pants and carrying a rifle began shooting as he makes his way through the parking lot and into the store.
As we're running, you could hear, because he was in the parking lot, so he started running to the back. You could hear gunshots change from outside, like you clap outside, you go inside, you start clapping, like that change. Outside to inside, so he's coming inside.
The gunman targeting his victims one by one in cold blood. One witness telling ABC News it was like the gunman was on a mission. Police racing to the scene, unsure if there was one or several shooters. This person trying to get out as first responders rush in. Panicked shoppers recording their escapes, posting it on social media.
Run, we can't run.
You can hear officers yelling commands as people flee.
Hands up! Hands up!
The shopping center placed on lockdown, and officials warning the public to stay away from the area.
Tactical teams from DEA, FBI, DPS are currently searching the area, so we need people to stay away.
Nearby, an El Paso congresswoman canceling her town hall, alerting the audience about what happened.
You all, I'm so sorry. There's an active shooter. We are going to need to clear the event.
Police scrambling, trying to find the gunman.
We need to start securing exits and start locking things down.
Inside, police helping this woman covered in blood. Another woman being wheeled on a cart as dazed shoppers look on.
So far, the intel, we have one subject and he's in custody.
Tonight, the death toll unfathomable.
On a day that would have been a normal day for someone to leisurely go shopping, turned into one of the most deadly days in the history of Texas.
At least 20 people killed, according to law enforcement officials. A massacre, dozens more wounded, their ages ranging from as young as 2 years old to senior citizens, as another American community is once again forced to ask why.
So many killed or wounded in this horrific attack. Marcus Moore joins us live. Marcus, as we mentioned earlier, officials desperately urging people in the community to give blood to help the multiple victims.
Tom, yes, it was incredibly busy this morning. Saturday morning, officials estimate there were between 1,000 and 3,000 people inside the store when the shooting happened. And so the victims, they were rushed to 2 area hospitals. Many of them tonight are in critical condition, and that is why there's that urgent need for blood. In the meantime, Tom, the suspect is still in custody, and we learned tonight that he was taken into custody without incident. Law enforcement did not have to fire any shots to get him arrested. Tom.
Marcus Moore with that new reporting on that breaking news tonight. Marcus, thank you.
Good evening. I'm Jerika Duncan. We begin with breaking news. A deadly mass shooting at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas. The numbers are staggering. At least 20 dead, more than 24 injured. The suspected gunman is in custody, identified as 19-year-old Patrick Cereus. He allegedly showed up at the Walmart armed and with a grudge, detailed in a manifesto he reportedly wrote and posted on an extremist website. Witnesses say the gunman shot randomly and repeatedly. Janet Shamlian begins our coverage tonight.
These surveillance pictures show the alleged shooter moments before the attack at the Walmart Supercenter. El Paso Police Sergeant Robert Gomez says they have one person in custody.
We believe he is the sole shooter. The person that was taken into custody without incident, and no law enforcement personnel fired their weapons.
The shooting started just before 11 a.m. Mountain Time.
And I wasn't really paying attention, but I heard do, 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 and then it went do, 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 like closer together. I told him there's a shooter, and we took off running towards the back of the store.
A massive emergency response was sent to the busy mall area on the city's east side, just off Interstate 10. The FBI and ATF are on the ground helping El Paso police. The Walmart is part of a large shopping area, sharing a parking lot with the Cielo Vista Mall, which has more than 140 stores. Shoppers running for cover as word of the shooting spread.
Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
On a day that would have been a normal day for someone to leisurely go shopping, turned into one of the most deadly days in the history of Texas.
Presidential candidate and El Paso native Beto O'Rourke says he's canceling events and heading home.
I'm incredibly saddened, and it is very hard to think about this. But I'll tell you, El Paso is the strongest place in the world.
Tonight, President Trump has been briefed. The White House says it's monitoring the situation, and Texas Governor Greg Abbott has already arrived in El Paso. He is meeting with law enforcement. Jerika?
Thank you, Janet. And police are saying there were as many as 3,000 people at this Walmart.
Yeah, this is tax-free weekend in Texas. It's designed to help families cut the cost of back-to-school expenses. So all the stores, including this Walmart, were just packed today. And also, Jerika, you were likely to find many more children in the stores today.
Wow. Thoughts and prayers going out to that community tonight. Janet Shamlian, thank you.